Hey everyone, it's Penny Samar, and you are watching the Permanent Rain Press.
Hi everyone, it's Chloe with the Permanent Rain Press today. I am so happy to be joined by Penny Samar. How's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
I am good, thank you for asking. And I'm so excited to be chatting with you, of course, about your journey on American Idol this season. But to start off, I know that you have loved performing your entire life. What are some of your earliest childhood memories in the arts and at your local community theater?
Wow. Okay, well, I started doing music honestly in the form of dance. So when I was about in kindergarten, I think I was just like taking those combo classes, when you would do like tap, jazz, and ballet, like those little things. I remember doing like oh my gosh, what's that one song? It's like We Are Siamese, like whatever from that one show. Like that was like my first tap number. Wasn't very good, obviously, because I was in kindergarten, but it was where we started. So we started. But I eventually moved on to doing Odyssey of the Mind, which I don't know if anybody really knows about that, but it's actually like this program for like third grade to sixth grade. I think you probably can go further from that, but it was you basically make your own musicals or you have to problem solve like some like tech experiment, whatever. But my group was always drawn to like doing the creative stuff. Um, and yeah, it was like a competition type of thing. So I guess with all of my art stuff, I've always kind of been involved in the competition realm of the arts. I eventually started doing band, and then I did choir. I did all of it, honestly, and just fell into doing theater eventually. I remember being in eighth grade, and I remember doing the Sound of Music at my high school, and I was one of the younger people there because it was like seventh grade through 12th grade. But I remember the older people in the cast, like the seniors and everything, were hyping me up, and I never thought I was good at singing because I was always doing like dance or something like that, and that was really the first time that I felt like I was a singer because it was so validating. I was like, oh, I didn't know I could do this, but I just kept doing it. And I eventually got into community theater a little bit more. When I was a kid, way younger, I used to do some of their camps. But after I did that eighth grade show at my high school, I started to audition for like their adult shows and their summer stock shows, which was like, I think, ninth grade through seniors in college, whatever. I got a role with them playing Vivian in Legally Blonde, and I made a lot of friends, and I was super awkward, introverted kid, so I didn't really like know how to socialize with people, but I really learned how to make friends through those groups, and then now I feel like I'm actually pretty good at making friends because I've like been doing it for so long through these groups. But yeah, I would say it really started with all of the things combined together, just trying, like dipping your toes in like a million different avenues. And I simply just fell into theater. And I think the community of it was what was so uplifting about it.
I think that that's like a recurring thing that I hear with theater. Everyone's kind of supporting each other, but it's interesting to hear that you've always been involved in some kind of competition since you were
Mhm.
young, especially in dance. But I'm curious, like, do you come from an artistic and creative family? You do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, my family's super involved. What's funny, like my direct parents aren't like heavy musicians. Like my dad loves a good music festival. Like he brought me to music festivals growing up, and I like didn't really know how cool that was when I was a kid because I just didn't understand like the difference between what was like you know what I mean? Like I just had no idea. But now that I'm older, I'm like, "Oh, that's really cool that my dad would bring me to music festivals as a child like and I could experience all these different forms of music when a lot of kids I feel like just don't even really know what that is. Um, yeah, my grandparents though, my stage name's actually Penny, and that's like where I get that from. But she was super musical. She was in a group called the Repaz Band, which is in my local town, but she played the cornet. And she's been musical her whole life, and she really got me into it. I started playing flute, and I remember picking up the flute, bringing it home for like the first time, and I was crying because I couldn't figure it out, and I got so frustrated. But she was one of those people that like always encouraged me and was like, you just gotta like give it time. Like you can't just be good at it on your first try every single time. So I stuck with it. I can still play flute to this day, but she's always been a big uplifter for that. And also then there's my other grandma. She was like a music professor, so it's like it's just it feels like it's in the blood, from each side.
In terms of like being musically inclined and creative, you mentioned the flute. You've also like taught voice, play ukulele,
Hmm.
piano. You're a portrait photographer. So how did these all kind of connect? Because of course, in addition to dance and singing, you also have all these other kind of sides to that.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think it's because my attention just goes to different things all the time. But I'm also the type of person that's like, oh, if I want to do it, like, why not just do it? Like, that's kind of what I think about. Like, when I started doing photography, that was something that started in high school. Like, I took a photography class and I was really bad at it. But eventually, like, I got my own camera. Well, first off, I started to use the ones at the school because they were free, and I was interested in video and all that stuff because I loved YouTube and I loved live streaming as a kid. And I wanted to do that. I just didn't have like the resources because I wasn't like rich growing up. Like, I just didn't have those things. But when I got to school and that was free and I had like something I could use, I was like, oh, so I started to sign out the cameras and I started to take some of my friends' senior portraits for free. And then all of a sudden I was like, wait, I'm getting kind of good at this. And then people would see my photos, which I think they're pretty mediocre looking back on now, but I think we all do that when we first start something and then you get pretty good at it and you look back, you're like, ooh, that was questionable. But I look back on them now and I'm like, those weren't great. But for some reason, people who had their picture taken by me seemed to like them at the time. So I'll take it, run with it. But yeah, it kind of snowballed, and I got more clients for that because I just liked doing it. And then people liked what I did, so they'd reach out to me, and then they'd tell a friend. Like word of mouth is crazy. Like people will like completely just if they like you and they like what you did, they'll tell somebody else because they're excited about it. But when it comes to like teaching voice and all that, that was actually just something when I went to college. Like a lot of my friends would teach private lessons on the side to make money, and that's kind of how I made my rent. Because there's a lot of like private studios in the Westchester area that hire college students to teach. So I got like a lot of experience teaching too. I think I taught for about 3 years in school, which is actually insane to look back on because it's a lot of energy, but like, yeah, I guess I can do that now too. So, yeah, I guess the answer to your question, I just kind of follow whatever interests me at the time, and then you just have a bunch of things. So,
It's really like you can do anything that you put your mind to, and you
you
spend the
can.
effort. Mentioned, your stage name, Penny. I wanted to talk a bit more about that and how it pays homage to your grandmother, what she meant to you. I know that she helped raise you. You watched Idol together when you were younger. So, what kind of spurred you to take on this name?
Yeah, so it's kind of funny because I used to call her all the time. When I was on campus, like I would walk around, obviously to class, and if there's something that like made me think about her in some way, I would call her and be like, oh my gosh, you need to listen to this. It was like talking to your like best friend on like the phone. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, I have to text her. Right. That's what I would do. I would just call my grandma. Um, but basically, like, I just remember there was one day I was walking around and I just got out of class. And then we were reading this book called Bluets. It was like it's like a poetry novel. I don't even know how to describe it. I didn't read the whole thing, but we read it for like this snippet in, I think it was one of my writing classes that I was taking at the time. But I was like, I feel like she'd really like this book. So I was talking to her on the phone about this book, and I remember her birthday was coming up. So I was like, I didn't tell her this, but I was like, I'm gonna order this to her house. So I did. I ordered it to her house. And then I think about a week later, I called her and I was like thinking about my artist image because I was taking these writing classes to get better at like lyric writing. Like I was taking poetry classes and like narrative form classes, but I was trying to apply them to music because there weren't like a lot of classes at my state school that were like super focused on writing, like for what I want. So I kind of had to like makeshift figure it out. But I remember like figuring out like what I wanted to do with my artist image and my name and whatever. Because I thought Christina was boring. We love Christina name, but like I don't know, there's a lot of Christinas. So I called her and I was like, I have a crazy weird idea. What if I use your name as my stage name? And she was like, that's the weirdest thing I've ever heard. And I was like, I like it. So she's like, yeah, whatever, you can use it. But then it was crazy because about like a week or two later, she actually just passed away. But um, I just remember at her funeral, her two best friends were telling me they were like, she was actually really excited about using the name and all that. So like it was crazy like divine timing to like get the idea and ask her about it like all before that happened, and it was so weird because the book arrived at her doorstep like the day she died. Getting emotional. Um, but yeah, she never got to read it. So yeah, but I had a lot of my friends take that book and like read it and write their notes in the book. Ooh, sorry, I'm like barefaced, no makeup too, so I'm super red right now. Um, but yeah, I tried to turn that into something cool. Like along, I guess with the stage name, it kind of turns something that sucks into something cool. Um, because that just kind of happens, you know? People pass away and you have to find a way to keep living without them. So
I appreciate you sharing all of that. And I know that I can tell that she meant a lot to you. And I love that she did give you a hard time when you spoke with her, but it was probably just all out of love. And, to
right.
hear that, I'm sure from her friends who she spoke with, that she was actually really excited for you to use her name. I'm sure it means a lot. And I'm sure she's reading that book up there in heaven as well. And, you still have that connection. I'm sure you feel her with you when you perform and through all your shows and things like that. Going back to your studies, you graduated from Westchester University in studio
Yes.
composition, but you also studied marketing, music education, and music therapy. So, what were key lessons that you took away from your studies at WCU and into your current brand and artistry?
Great question. Well, I started as marketing, and I honestly think that I'm actually pretty good at branding and marketing. Like, I don't know why. There's something about like music business that's always kind of been interesting to me. And there's no like music business major at my school. Again, it's state school. They're not really, it's not like Berkeley, like they're not training us to be like music industry pop people. It's like classical music there. Um, but with marketing, here's the thing, I didn't get far enough in the program to really learn much, to be so real. But I did learn that's not what I want to do. So I changed my major. I took like brief calculus and macroeconomics and stuff like that, and I was like, not for me, not for me. For someone else. But I changed to music therapy because I did marketing kind of more so because it felt like that was the practical major to go with. So I guess a big lesson with that is like do what makes you happy because you're gonna have to do something anyway. Like that's because I thought for some reason in high school if I just picked the good major that everything would be fine and it would be easy, but it was almost harder doing the thing that I hated doing than just doing something that was harder that I liked doing. So I switched to music therapy, and that was when I was like, "Oh, I like this." I didn't last long in it because I started to get drawn more into like the education realm. I wanted to teach private lessons, and I was like, what if I opened a private studio? So I did some like core like overlapping classes of music therapy, whatever, switched to music ed, and I was in that for a while. But music ed was also really rigorous, and I started to realize I think I like the community of music more than I like being like the teacher of music. You know what I mean? And I think I just started to find out like it's not even like the music part that I like, it's the people in music that I like being around. So I was in a part of an a cappella group in college too. But it was funny because it felt like I was majoring in my a cappella group.
That was great Grace Notes, right?
No, it was actually, I did do Grace Notes, but it was under arrest a cappella. They were the competitive group on campus, and I actually didn't get in my first time. And then I auditioned the next year, and I got in, and I eventually became music director. And I started to arrange the sets, and I was the first person in the group ever start getting outstanding arrangement at semifinals, and I was one of the first music directors, I think the first music director and only music director still to place at semis with the group and get second at wild card, which is 11th in the world. It's like runner up to finals. Um, yeah, so it's like it's funny not getting into something and then like getting completely rejected. I didn't even get a call back, and then coming back and saying, "Hey, this is why I should be in this group," and you make it further. Then the group makes it further than they ever had. Um, but yeah, so I felt like I was majoring in that group because I took the competition of that group so seriously, but it gave me like an outlet to make friends and to make something like creative. I was super invested in it. But that actually led me to change my major to studio composition because it taught me how to like make albums and write music and arrange music and produce and use Logic and all that stuff. And that's kind of where I am now. Um, and they both worked super well together in college. And I think if I were to do something creative, like it would involve community, it would involve like production, and it would involve writing and arranging and hopefully with other people, with that community. So I think it all had to happen that way to figure out like what actually works. So
Were you a Pitch Perfect fan? I feel like that was your era, and just hearing about like the a cappella arranging and producing things like that.
I watched it before that. It's funny, I actually was not an a cappella nerd until I got in it. Like I had no friends. So I was like, I need a group to be a part of because I have no friends on campus. So I ended up like not getting in. So I was like lonely. I had a few friends freshman year, but I was like lonely. And so I got into the group, thank God, the second time because I needed friends. But then I was like, wait, why do I kind of love this, And then it did turn into that. The drama and theatrics that happen in Pitch Perfect are like honestly not that far-fetched with what happens in collegiate a cappella. Like it's kind of funny. But I remember there was after a competition, I had some of my home friends come visit me at college and we all watched Pitch Perfect. It was kind of funny watching the non-a cappella
Seeing
people
the
like experience.
parallels as well.
Yes. Exactly. They were like, whoa, it's kind of weird. But yeah.
Today, who and what are the primary artists and genres you're inspired by, and how do they inspire you?
Hmm. It's funny. It's funny. The music that I've sung, no, like notoriously sung, is not the music that I necessarily like to listen to. And that's actually something that I've been like battling with. I'm trying to really figure out what I'm inspired by. I would say I'm super like when it comes to performance and arrangement, I am super inspired by Chappell Roan and Billie Eilish. Yeah. Chappell Roan and Billie Eilish. More so Chappell Roan for how she like takes up the stage and her vision. I love what she has going on there. And when it comes to arrangement, I think Billie and it's really Phineas, I think. But Billie Eilish and her brother, the way they write songs, I think is just super like it captivates you the whole time. So I like when I listen to them, I'm like intrigued because I want to learn how he makes tracks and stuff like that. But recently, I've been listening to people that have been inspiring me lyrically. I love Jensen McRae. Um, she just like has a way. She's a poetry account on Instagram that I follow, but she's like such a writer. She's like will write whatever comes to her head, but she will write like poetry snippets, and then she'll have like lyric snippets. Like they're different to her. She's like, is this a poem or is this a lyric? And I'm like, I like that because like you can tell that she's very intentional with what she's saying in all of her songs, and I think that's like spectacular. If you want to throw it back, wait like ten years, was like such an emo kid and I loved Bright Eyes, Connor Oberst, which is funny. I don't know if you've ever heard of him, but he does that song like oh is it this is the first day of my life. People know that one, I think. But he became friends with Phoebe Bridgers, and they were friends before people really knew about her, but now Phoebe and Boy Genius and all that stuff, like they're huge. And that's kind of how I got into them as well. And then after I got into them, got into Lizzie McAlpine. It's like there's always like the artists that just like I feel like keep compounds off of these artists, but I remember Connor back in the day being one of my favorites, and it makes sense why like Phoebe kind of started to branch off that, and I was into her too. So yeah, I love to answer in a concise way. I love lyric driven intentionality, but also same thing with arrangement and vision. I think if it's very intentional and clear, I think it's just like that's what makes something great. So,
For sure. And I think that you are still also like evolving your sound because you have kind of like these pop influences. I guess Lizzie could be a little folk, but you also with your musical kind of your community theater background that you also like some Broadway influences because you do a
mhm,
killer cover of Defying Gravity, which I wish we did get to hear. I know one of your
right.
Amanda sang that song on the show and you also did a cover of like I Don't Know My Name by Grace
Oh
Vanderwall.
my gosh.
So you have like this whole kind of wealth of a music resume and probably artists that you were kind of inspired by at different chapters.
Yeah, no, for sure. It always evolves. I remember it's funny you bring up the Grace Vanderwall cover because that was an era where I would live stream on the app called You Now, which I don't know if anybody ever even goes on that app anymore. But that used to be like a musician hub. Like there's actually a lot of people, like I think Shawn Mendes used to broadcast on there, but like now obviously he doesn't do that. But there's a lot of musicians that you'd probably know now that used to be broadcasters on there, and I was one of them. I was 14 and I would play on my ukulele to like try to get fans. They're literally called fans when people would follow you on this app. And I thought, I mean, I was young, I was developing, but I look back at that cover and I'm like, oh God. I wish I could delete it. I hate it, but I'm glad it's still there because it kind of shows like the progression. It shows like the growth of everything that you had to start somewhere. You had to start somewhere. I knew it at the time too, but it also went viral. So it obviously did well for its time. So, oh
You gotta
God,
embrace the journey, right?
you
Embrace all the
do
experiences.
so much cringed.
What is your current songwriting process like, and how do you kind of record your thoughts and ideas on a daily basis?
Well, a lot of times ideas hit literally in the middle of the night or like honestly, like I like going on walks, and there'll be like a moment in the middle of a walk that I'm like voice recording out. You know what I mean? Like you have to do it when it comes to you because you just like I find a lot of times when I sit down and try to write songs, if I'm like not feeling a certain way, it just doesn't really work. Um, like my notes app, I have well, first off, this is easier to find. Like I have just like a million and 10 voice recordings. Like if I go, what is this? Like I don't even know what this is, but that's just like song idea 3 apparently in my notes app. And that was from 2021. I don't even know. But then I have notes apps, and then let me see. What's this? Um, I don't know. Somebody said something. Okay, here's another way to answer your question. I'll just hang out with people and they'll say something and I'm like, that's a great lyric. I think somebody said, I'll beat a dead horse until I die. And I was like, that is a great lyric. I was talking with my friend Nate and he's like, I'm gonna have to get my lawyer involved like with you. You keep taking everything I say, you're gonna turn into a song. But like that's like how it works. It's like you hear something weird and you're like, wait, that works. And then you just have to like find a way to build off of it. So
I love that. I feel like though it would take so long for you to sit down and like kind of piece everything together. But
oh
like
yeah.
like you mentioned, inspiration it strikes any time of day with anyone that you're with, and it's really cool because you have been slowly releasing original music on Spotify, especially since the new year and your time on Idol. Before we get into what's next on that front, can you tell me about the origins of the Pink Penny Club? So, in terms of its mission, the connection to, of course, one of your inspirations, Chapel Roan's song, and its meaning behind it.
Yeah, so the Pink Penny Club kind of started as a joke. Like I didn't think I was going to get an audition for American Idol in front of the judges. Like I'm at the time, and I don't have many followers now, and I don't consider myself to be famous by any means, but like I had like less than 2,000 followers going into this thing, and I was just talking to a casting director, and he was like, "Yeah, like come on a coaching with me and we'll see where this leads." And I was like, "All right." And then I eventually got a call and was like, "Hey, do you want to see the judges?" type of thing. And I was like, "Oh, okay." But I knew I needed to be memorable at the audition. So I had a weird viral TikTok of me doing the cup song to Pink Pony Club. And I'd be like, we only get this opportunity like once in life. What if I like played off of my Chapel Roan cup song weird trend and sing Pink Pony Club? But it was funny, like a lot of the producers like weren't really leaning me in that direction at first because like they're like, oh, we can find like a better song than that one. But I showed up with 14-ish people, all in matching Pink Penny Club crew necks because I was like, wait, but like Pink Penny Club's a great pun. And my friends and I in our group chat that like were going to the audition, we're like, all right, let's get merch. Let's get. It was like fun. It was like a playful thing, and so I made merch. I literally like ordered a huge batch of it. Cost me like $1,000. Like I was like, this better be great. So I ordered it, and we all had matching merch for this thing. It was very quick turnaround with this idea. Um, and yeah, we showed up at my rehearsal. They were like, yeah, you should sing Pink Pony Club. And so I had to learn a whole arrangement for Pink Pony Club. It wasn't actually like my first choice. It was one of my last choice songs. But I knew it would be funny if I did it at least. I was like, you know what, whatever, I'll do it. Like, even if it's funny, who cares? Like, like it all makes sense. It'll make great TV. But then it happened to get me through. And then I just happened to like start to build this empire that was kind of a joke, but like it's fun. I don't know. And people are will DM me saying, "Hey, can I be a part of the Pink Penny Club?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Like, duh. But it's funny. Growing up, again, I've mentioned previously earlier that my dad used to bring me to festivals, but there's like a group of moms and like his friend group, whatever they call themselves, the Lindas, but they would go to the festivals with us, but they would always be wearing like crazy sparkly outfits and like wigs and being like the weirdest people there, like, but they're super like extroverted and just like, ah, like, I don't know, they don't care, which I like really like. And that's kind of the energy, I guess, I like brought to this. Like, it's like, who cares what my face looks like when I sing? Like, why do you care so much? Also, I can wear a pink suit and I can have pink hair, and who cares? It's more fun that way. Like, it's like, why would you want to be the like most boring person in the room? Like, I don't know. It's like you make friends when you're different, or like I don't know. That's my philosophy. And I think everyone in the Pink Penny Club just knows how to have a good time. So despite all odds, at least like make a joke. My friends also have like we horrible photos of me and memes of them. And I'm like, whatever, just like post them in the group chat or whatever. Like there's like a thing on Instagram, like the club. I forget what it's called. The channel. I don't even know. But I'm like, yeah, just post them in the channel. Like, who cares? But I don't know. The mission, I guess, is just to embrace the weird. Like, who cares at the end of the day?
And you've written like some great kind of like taglines for the mission statement, like true was it true icons wear pink every dang day. Glitter is a personality trait. So I mean, open invitation for anyone who wants to join the Pink Penny Club. Who are some of your favorite contestants from past seasons of American Idol? And is there anyone that you've been following from the more recent seasons on ABC?
So definitely my favorite is Grace Kinsler. I think she's season 21 or something, somewhere around there. I think she was runner up. I think maybe third. I don't remember. But I actually didn't watch her on the show at the time, but I watched like some of her videos afterwards. But she's like my voice coach. So I've been taking lessons with her like periodically, not too often, but she's been a huge support in this process, and she's also just super knowledgeable about like how the voice actually works. Like she's classically trained, so she knows how to like, and I was also kind of classically trained in college. So she knows how to like actually healthily use her voice and teach somebody else how to do it. So I really appreciate her. And I think she's honestly one of the best singers that's ever like graced that show. She's insane. Um, so she's got to be my number one. I'll say last season, Jack Blocker with his faces. I didn't realize my faces were that bad until I watched the audition, and I'm like, oh God, no wonder the producers were like taking my story with the face route. I didn't realize it was so bad until I saw it. Um, yeah. But Jack Blocker now, I actually voted for him last season to win the show. I liked him. But yeah, with people drawing that parallel with like the two of us in our face, like I think he's just got to be an automatic favorite now. I was also a huge KB fan last year. I voted for her as well. I thought she had such a good voice, and also she was kind of like a pop girl in a sense, but like not. I don't know, but I feel like I resonated with her the most because I'm like a pop girl. Like I like me some gospel and country and whatever, but like I feel like was one of the people that was actually singing songs that like I really enjoyed. So yeah, so those three probably.
Those are some really great options. And I spoke with Jack last season and
Mm.
fantastic guy. They're all still, plugging away, making great music that people can listen to. Can you briefly take me through your journey to get on American Idol, especially for those interested in following in your footsteps?
Yeah, so my journey was kind of weird because I did the star competition who it's run by a guy named Danny Murphy, and I used to judge the competition for like the kids whatever. But I was like I got into that because like I knew a friend of a friend type of thing, and they needed a judge, and I was like a voice teacher slash student in the area, so like I just went in. Um but I became friends with him, and then he's like, "You should really audition for this competition," which was his like version of American Idol for like the local area, basically. So I did the adult competition, and I actually ended up winning. And I know he submitted my videos to a few casting producers, but also my friend Sydney had my producer's contact as well, and she was like, "You should DM him." So I did. I didn't know if he was even going to answer me. I had literally no idea. But it's one of those things that you just never know what's going to happen, and you'll absolutely never know unless you ask. So my rejection sensitivity has gotten better. I don't really care as much anymore. But I DM'd him, and he was like, "Yeah, like let's set up a coaching." And I was like, "Okay, great." So I coached with him, which I think was just a fancy way of saying, in low stress way, of saying, this is your audition for me. And then I think he liked what he saw and heard. He sent me to the next round with some of the executives. And then I got notice that they want to see me again, but I'm going to see them in like a month. And I have to have like three songs or like two or three songs ready for them, whatever. So I show back up on Zoom, like full dress, but this is when I was like, crap, crap, crap. I need to figure out my artist image. Like, so my hair at that point is pink, pigtails. I'm wearing a blazer. I don't know. I was like trying to figure out something that makes me distinct because there's a million people who are auditioning for this. So it's like you need to stand out. Um, but I show up and I sang what did I do? I did Cassandra from Florence and the Machine. It's a whatever. I don't know if you know that song or anything, but it's from her Dance Fever album. But I did that for my a cappella group. That was one of my solos, so I like knew it really well, and I was one of the people who picked that song for the set, and it did really well in competition. So I was like, okay, this worked here. This will maybe work here. So I did that one. What was the other one? I did. I did "Missing Me" by YVA, I think. Yeah, that's an underground song too. And then I did Snow Angel by Renee Rapp. And I at the time I was struggling to sing Snow Angel by Renee Rapp because I was just not developed enough as a vocalist. Thanks to Grace Kinsler, that got a little easier. Um, but after this audition, they sent me to the winner's circle, is what they call it. I got to meet Amy, which is like the cast, or like she's not, I don't know if she's even cast, she's just a producer, but she like hangs out with all the contestants the whole process. She's like stage manager who sits by your side the whole time. So like I've didn't realize how crucial this connection with Amy was until I'm still with Amy until I get eliminated. You know what I mean? So, um, yeah, so they sent me to the winner circle and they had me on camera with another producer and they're like, "Yeah, so we want to hear three more songs of you like from you like right now. So you're just gonna sit here on Zoom and you're gonna like practice them and somebody will be in here. Somebody will be in here and you're gonna record them and then send them to us. But like you're going to do it in the next few hours." So like at this point I'm like, are they testing me? Like are they testing me? Like because why am I doing three more songs within the span of like this hour? Like that I just have to have ready. But I did it. Like I was with my friend Niall who was playing guitar for me too at the time and we were like super close, so like we knew how to perform together. So I did Birds of a I can't even talk. We did Birds of a Feather by Billie Eilish, um, Dog Days Are Over, Florence and the Machine, and oh my gosh, oh Erase Me, Lizzie McAlpine, because I think they wanted something less like crazy from me because I was doing like the hardest songs I could think of in my repertoire, and they were like, "All right, can we pull it back a bit?" And so I think that's why they did that for me. Um, but then, yeah, I think a few weeks after I submitted those videos and they called me and said like, "Hey, like you're gonna go for the judges." So that was my process. I know of some people who like go through the open calls, go through all of that, and they get to their final Zoom with the execs, and they're like, "So yeah, we want to have you audition for the judges," and they like record your reaction. Um, for me, I think it took a little bit more time of deliberation. I don't think they were completely certain on me at first. That's just how it seems now looking back. But then there's people like I think Josh. I think he submitted a video on the last day, and now Josh is like top 14. You know, so like you just never know. There's a million different ways you can get on the show.
I mean, it's cool that your journey started with, kind of reaching out to kind of producer yourself because
Mm-hmm.
like you said, you just gotta take your shots sometimes because you never know. And you
Mm-hmm.
mentioned watching your audition back on TV and you weren't aware of how emotive or expressive your facial expressions were. So tell me about watching it back with, I'm assuming, friends and family and seeing the judges' reactions. Like, how much of that were you absorbing in real time?
Oh yeah. So I was at a bar with like everybody. It was like a watch party. It was like a restaurant in my local town, and they had a bunch of TVs on the wall. And my audition, I wasn't expecting it to be the first one of the episode. They don't tell you like when the like what the lineup is normally, and so I was just like sitting there, and I was like, oh gosh, my thing's gonna come on at some point. Um, and then it was the first one, and I was like, "Oh, here we go!" And I see the Pink Penny Club come on, and I knew that was gonna be funny, just because like it's the Pink Penny Club, and we were acting crazy on camera too. So I thought that was great. My group of people there was perfect, though. They were perfect for entertaining TV. We're all just like super super close and fun. Um, but then all of a sudden, my audition starts, and you just see like me go like with my feet. I was like, oh. I was like, I was confused after my audition because I didn't know what they were talking about at first. Like, I've always been really expressive, and like with theater directors, they're always like, give me more and I'll tell you when to like pull it back. But nobody's ever like hounded me for my face. Like, I had a teacher in college once that said, like, hey, like, relax your face and you sing. But they've never were just like blatantly like confused by me, and I was like, oh, I was like, I didn't know this was a problem. Um, and yeah, so I watch it back and I'm like, oh, that looks weird. And I'm like, I'm like, can't take it back now. Now it's broadcasted literally everywhere. But my comments were vile about my face. And like there was a few that were about my voice that people didn't like it. I mean, like I didn't like my performance completely on that either. I mean, but I was super nervous and like you're thrown into a bright room with three celebrities and a million producers and you're expected to sing perfectly on pitch the whole time. I don't know. It's like crazy to ask a normal person who's never done it before to just be perfect and like, you know what I mean? So it's looking back, I'm like, you got to give yourself some grace there because like no normal person's going to just like be absolutely perfect on the first try. But yeah, my comments are vile about my face. Um, and honestly, I didn't think it was that bad until other people were telling me it was that bad. And that's kind of where I was just like, I had to make a joke about it, or else it was gonna like make me really sad. You know what I mean? It's like people when people comment on your appearance like that, it's like that's super one, super shallow, but two, it's like, what can I do about that? Like, especially when I wasn't completely aware it was that bad. Like I was definitely trying to give a lot because it's like an audition, and again, the theater mode crept in, and I was like, give everything, but I didn't realize how high definition those cameras were gonna be, and I don't think the editing did me any favors. I think they were trying to make it a bit of a point, you know, narrative wise. Like, so I think they probably saw the worst of it and like zoomed in on it. Um, because it's reality TV too at the end of the day. But yeah, so definitely when I saw it, I was like, whoa, I see what they're saying now. But what can you do?
I feel like we didn't see as much of it in future rounds, so maybe
Hmm.
it was kind of like dialed back a bit. But I love that you kind of did a bit more of a positive spin on it because I'm sad to hear about, you know, all those vile comments. I think, you know, people like you said, you have to give yourself grace, and people out there, like everyone's going to have opinions, but you know, you're thrown into this competition. It's not like you're used to being on TV in any kind of sense and things like that. Um, in terms of reacting to it, so you were doing like TikToks, to the public reaction. So tell me a bit about how those videos came together. And in addition to that, do you ever go down the rabbit hole of forums and Reddit threads of reactions, or is it just kind of based on social media like Facebook, Instagram, where they post the performances?
I learned super quick to not read the forums. They're wild. I remember I did my performance in Hawaii, and then like all of a sudden somebody's like, "Have you guys seen Idol forums?" And I'm like, "What?" They were already figuring us out. I was like, "This is nuts." Like, why? Like, why are people like already so invested in this? Like, I don't even know. But yeah, they did not have nice things to say about me based off of my Hawaii performance. And I mean, I did end up getting eliminated, but I will say, like, a lot of my performances weren't shown in the process of this, so I didn't really have like equal screen time as a lot of those who made it through. So it's like there's a lot of different factors, but I remember there were some mean things being said about me on these forums that were like to do with my performance, that specific performance, and it's like we're on week 3 of being away from home, and I didn't even think I was gonna make it this far. Like, give me some freaking slack. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm trying my best out here. Um, but yeah, the Facebook comments, they're pretty bad. I stopped reading them, but Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube are actually pretty okay. But the biggest advice they give us is just don't read the comments. Easier said than done, you know. So when I did read them, I was like, I had to do something about it, or else it was gonna just be like sitting in the back of my head in like a negative spiral. Like I don't know if people really realize the weight of the words that they have and the impact they can have on another person. Because I mean, if you think about it, like most of these people have just parasocial relationships with us because they don't know us personally. They're just watching us on a screen and making quick judgments. But like you just got to imagine whoever you're watching is like your sibling or it's your mom. Well, you know, I mean, somebody who's actually has a personal tie to you, and it's like, would you word what you're about to say to this random human, what you would say to somebody that you can see their immediate emotional reaction to this? Because it's like, these are damaging things. And these people are really young. Like, there are some minors that have to read these comments or like end up reading these comments because they have social media and they have notifications. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like people just gotta be nicer. Like I hate that you have to like not read your comments. It's like why can't people just not comment mean things? Like I don't know.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like have your opinion, but you don't always have to be commenting like rude stuff. Like you mentioned, think before you comment, things like that. Well,
Hmm.
you have a fan in me. I actually really
Oh,
liked your Good Luck Babe
thanks.
performance. I like the arrangement. I thought it was like equal parts fun and dramatic. You had your like face-to-face hand gesture as
Thank
well.
you.
Can you take me through some of your individual song choices during Hollywood Week and at Disney's Olani? Like, what did you want to focus on and highlight with your selections?
So starting at the audition that was again, it wasn't like my first choice song by any means, but I'm such like a long-term visionary type of person that I'm like, this first audition doesn't have to be the best audition ever if it gets me through. And it was more of like a branding decision. Like I had the Pink Penny Club. It kind of sets you up to have like this basis. Sorry, my cat's like on this box right now. This basis for a fan base, and like I've never seen anybody really do that going in to make that their primary focus. Like especially with like a fun, relevant pun like that. I was like, I've never seen a contestant do that. Let's run with it. I slid by at those auditions. Like they were really confused about me. Um, but I got to Hollywood Week, and then that's where I kind of let my good songs rip. And it's a shame they weren't shown because I did Snow Angel by Renee Rapp, and I ended up getting a standing ovation from all the judges for that first Hollywood Week performance. It's also like where I explained like my stage name because a lot of people there didn't realize that my name wasn't Penny. My name's actually Christina. But I mentioned that and I told like the backstory because when we got up there, they were like, say your name, say like a fun fact about you and why you want to be the next American Idol. And I was like, hey guys, I'm Penny. Um, my fun fact is I am not actually named Penny. It's not my real name. And I think I went back into like a little mini story about that. Um, so I mentioned that it didn't get shown. So people don't really know that, I think, about me. And then I ended up making it to the next round. But it was funny because Grayson, one of my good friends on the show, we did that duet. She also did Snow Angel for that round. And at that point, we literally met each other like very recently because the Hollywood Week is like a week long and Arena Round's like day two of Hollywood Week. You know what I mean? Like you get oriented with just being in the space of just the hotel, and then all of a sudden you're at Arena, like you're doing it. So we met each other and we were talking in a group of people about our song picks, and we both said Snow Angel. And we're like, oh, we're both doing the same song. That's scary. But we eventually became like close over it. So we both did it. We both made it to the next round. I got to Showstoppers. I picked Happier Than Ever. It's a song that I feel like I sound really good on, especially live. And I don't know, I love songs that I can be like dramatic with live. And I feel like both songs kind of give that. But then I was like, oh crap, Zaylee's doing this song too. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, I keep picking the same songs as other people. And it's a shame because I think I killed that one too, in my opinion. But they also gave me a standing ovation for that one as well. But that didn't get aired as well. So I didn't get my arena or my showstoppers aired. And they were really, really good performances. I felt super good about them leaving it. And then we got to duets, which we didn't know was going to happen. And it's literally that duets happen right after Showstoppers eliminations. Like, they're like, so the rest of you are going to do duets, and you need to find a partner, pick a song, jelly rules here, and you have to learn it overnight and do it tomorrow. Like, it's like crazy. But Grayson and I were like, we should definitely pair up. One, because we had the whole Snow Angel parallel. Like, it's interesting that we did the same song, almost like seen as against each other. And it's like, we can come together. We have similar voices. It's like, pick a song that we both know and kill it because we already know it and we sound good on it. Like, it's like, come together, especially as friends, and you'll be better. And I mean, in the industry, like, you want to have duets and collabs with people that you feel like you're aligned with, like to make really good music. So we were like, let's just do that. And I remember in our rehearsal, because we picked Wildflower by Billie Eilish. I remember in our rehearsal, one of the vocal coaches was like, you guys should like maybe add something that like lets you like show off a little bit more individually. and I arranged it on my laptop. Like I kind of just told Grayson what to sing because I was an arranger in college for my a cappella group, so I like already knew how to write and do all that stuff. So I was like, listen, if you do this and I do this, let's try it and see if it works. And it worked. And that's what the song is on the show. And we were just kind of like, I don't know, but I kind of just like it how it is. And so we just did it the original way on stage, and the judges loved it. Like one of their favorite duets of the whole night. We were one of like a few people who got standing ovations for our performance that night. Um, and I really do think that's why we got into top 24. I don't think Grayson and I were front runners in the show at all. I don't think like we were the most impressive every round. I don't think they had their eye on us too deeply at the auditions. Like I think we were just like, yeah, they're like two young girls. Let's see what they can do. But then we did the duet, and they're like, that was awesome. And I think that's kind of why we made it. And when we got to Hawaii, and picking a song there, they kind of say like to pick an upbeat song. I really wish I didn't, to be honest, because I feel like my strength isn't upbeat. I think it's dramatic type of music or like soft music. Um, I think that's what killed me a little bit, is doing an upbeat at that round because they didn't really get to see any of my strengths at Hollywood Week, but I didn't realize they weren't going to edit any of those in. But that was the reason I did an upbeat is because that's kind of the prompt for Hawaii is like get the crowd going, have fun. I thought it was good. But I don't think the general audience got a good like read on me as the person in the show by that point. So I don't know if that was the best pick. But hindsight's 2020. I have no control over what songs they show and don't show. So I just don't think it worked in my favor how it was edited. But we made it that far though. So that's
And
awesome.
to see your dad in the crowd, and he was so proud of you for that performance. So I think that that's kind of what you take from it, and that's what matters, and that's what counts. But I know you said hindsight's 2020. Is there anything that you would have done differently during your time in the competition, or was it just kind of like that song selection? But
Yeah, I would say that song selection, I probably would have picked something different, but at the same time, like that wasn't my first choice song. I had a few others that I wanted to do before that. It's just that one was like the one that got the most hype from like who I was asking like opinions of, like what to do. Um, but I that song's hard to sing live. Honestly, it's a radio song, so like no matter how well I sing it, it's not going to sound as good as the record, in my opinion, because it just sounds better when it's in a studio and on the radio. Like it's just how the song's written. But then if you have like a deep emotional ballad that's meant to be sung live, like of course that sounds better live. Like that's kind of like I wish I would have just stuck to my I wish I would have stuck to my instinct of do the songs that are notorious for captivating an audience. You know what I mean? Like that's one thing I would do differently. But I also didn't know they weren't going to show Snow Angel or Happier Than Ever, which showed that side of me already. So I got nothing shown that showed that I could do that. So I honestly don't even blame people not voting for me. Like a lot of votes because one, it's hard to remember somebody who doesn't get shown at Hollywood Week, but two, like if I only saw my first audition in just Hawaii and maybe like a little bit of myself in the duet, I probably wouldn't vote for me either, to be honest.
so
Like
it's like the
so,
pro kind of chapel roan, which of course is nothing wrong with it. But yeah, like you
right?
mentioned, it's like you didn't get to see that kind of softer side
No,
aside from the duets. But we were robbed of you singing The Impossible Dream. I'm glad you shared some of it on social media
thanks.
and the rehearsal footage for it. How much interaction or conversations did you have with the judges and your host, Ryan Seacrest?
Yeah, they're around a lot when we're filming. There's a few times the judges will be backstage and you'll have like a quick interaction with them. But they're like also doing a job by being on the show too. So it's kind of just like they're judging and then we're performing and then they give us their judgments type of thing. Ryan, the same thing. It's like you'll get pulled and they'll be like, you have to do an interview with Ryan right now. And we're like, okay. And then we do that. And then it's like, he's like, good job. And then we leave. Like, it's really, we don't really interact with them too much. Honestly, you get really comfy with your other contestants and the PAs and the producers that are around. Like, those are the people that you really start to get to know. But I honestly love it though. I think they're some of the best people that I've met.
With Jelly Roll, he seems to really be invested in the contestants as the artist in residence. So, what can you say about him as a person and the guidance that he provided?
Oh, Jelly Roll's awesome. He's like such an authentic human being. He's one of the best people I think they could bring in. And I don't know a lot of celebrities, but from my impression of who I've met, Jelly Roll, it's just like he seems like a good one. And he seems to have been through the ringer with like just like life experiences, so he feels very wise. And I remember like being backstage with Grayson before our duet, and he's very encouraging and down to earth, and he just like knows, he seems to know what's important and what things just don't matter. But yeah, I don't know, he's just great. And it's nice to just like, it's just nice to have somebody who's in the industry who has your back while you're in that experience. Because it is like, it's a weird one when you're getting thrown into just these like celebrity things all of a sudden as like a normal person. So having down to earth personalities are really, really nice.
He seemed to really like take his mentor role seriously and be invested in like the growth of the contestants. Can you take me behind the scenes with the top 24? Like, how was it bonding with this group? What are some of your favorite memories from Hawaii and in Hollywood with your new friends?
One of my favorite memories. Hmm. I would say at Hawaii, some of the best moments were in the hot tub. We would just like be at like the saltwater hot tub. And I remember there was one moment where like a lot of the singers were like kind of breaking out into their like gospel songs, which personally I don't really know them, but I thought it was really cool. And it was actually before I really got to know a lot of the people who were in top 24. There's also a moment where we were all playing Cards Against Humanity in the hotel lobby, and Kanan's funny. I don't know. There's just like so many people there that are just so funny. But like they're all just normal people. Like I'm sure there's like a celebrity glaze over how a lot of people view these contestants, but like in reality, like we all are just humans, and we just like we're hanging out together because we're all just like, how the heck did we get here? This is crazy. I would say some of my favorite memories at Hollywood Week were just hanging out, singing songs, like with my friend Yanni. She did the duet with Kiana, the Please 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 one, and she did like that the football song or whatever. But like we got super close. Her and I actually met at New York auditions, and then we both just still talk to this day. But just singing with her, and I had a sleepover at her house literally like the other month. Like it was great because she lives in Jersey and I'm from Pennsylvania, so um, I made the trek. But like those are the things that are the best about the experience. It's just like the friends and the little fun moments. Oh, and even for top 24 hanging out, we would play code names. And like I don't know if you've heard that game, but like we played code names and we just had like the whole group there, we're all talking. Honestly, sometimes I hate playing code names with them because I lose. And Philo loves to rub that in my face, but it's fine. But yeah, no, it's really just the people and the memories and all that. It makes everything so great.
Speaking about the people, the team behind the scenes, what was it like working with production, vocal coaches, and especially the styling and wardrobe team, which I'm curious about, like how much input did you get with your styling?
Oh my gosh. So the vocal coaches and everybody, they're awesome. They are great supporters and they always have such a positive attitude. And it's crazy working with like the band too, Chris Pulley and the band, because you just like can give them anything and they'll just do it. Like that's one of the biggest things that makes me sad about not being on the show is like, holy crap, having just top-notch musicians being able to just do whatever you want them to do is awesome. When it comes to wardrobe and hair and makeup, I miss that because my favorite thing about the show is getting dressed up in like the suits and like I don't know, I love that so much. But they gave me like a custom suit for the top 24 like show or whatever for like the Easter one. But I remember I got eliminated, and like the main lady in wardrobe gave me a hug, and she was like, "I'm so sad because your next outfit was so good." But it's like it was so funny because I gave them like a few notes, and I was just like, I like suits, bold block colors. I don't know. And I was like, glitter, sparkles, go crazy. And they took it and they did it. So like I was probably a fun person to work with in that regard because I'm a person that's like, I don't know, just do whatever you want. Like just be creative because especially when you're in wardrobe and hair, like I'm sure you get people who just like want something very basic and I'm sure that's fine. But I remember when I used to be a voice teacher, when certain students would come to me with crazy requests or like really niche songs, I'd be like, this is awesome. Like, it kind of lets you be creative too, and it makes it less of a job, I'm sure. So that was really fun. I liked the wardrobe, makeup, hair crew because I was just like, just do whatever you want. Like whatever works, works. So
You were never short on glitter. I think I saw, did you have like a blazer in your closet that you wore on the show as well?
yeah, I think, oh my gosh, wait, I have this box. I think I might literally have. This was the one at Hawaii, but after the Hawaii performance, I had everyone sign it,
Oh,
which
that's
I
such
think
a
is
nice,
so cute.
yeah.
Yeah, but I know I miss everybody so much. But also, I live in LA right now, so I quite literally could just drive to them once I get my vehicle.
Drop in
But
on the tapings, right? You just
right,
pop up and you're like,
well, right, I
let
could
me
just
in.
go to their hotel, hang out, be like, hey guys, you can't get rid of me. Um, but yeah.
Are there a few standout performances from your fellow top 24 that have stuck with you that you would like to give compliments to?
Oh my gosh, every performance Jamal has done. I think I told him, like, Jamal and I don't really talk much, and like, that's fine. Honestly, I feel like I'm more of a fan of Jamal than his friend, to be real. But I remember hearing Liar because he rehearsed right before me, and I was like, oh, I'm going home. When I heard that, I was like, oh, there's no way I'm making it through. Like, I was like, what? What? Yeah. So Jamal, I still listen to Liar. I remember when he also did his arena round. I would like go back to that video and watch it. It was one of the most impressive things. And I think I told him like if I wasn't a contestant on the show, like just as a viewer, he'd probably be my favorite one. Um, but yeah, so Jamal is really awesome. I'm always super impressed with Philo too. Like I just think he has such a good voice. Like he sounds like Sam Smith, but it's like he's just I don't know, it's like Sam Smith squared. Like I don't really know, like it's something different. Who else? I'm super impressed with Josh all the time too. He really knows how to transform uh himself into going into spaces that he's uncomfortable with, but making everybody see him in a different light and like proving to them he's just not like a lounge singer, like they said in his original audition. Yeah. Also Gabby. I loved her showstopper performance. Like I thought that was one of her bests and she's just a beautiful human being too. So yeah, there's honestly I could just not say enough good things about literally all the contestants because they're I'm inspired just being around them. I kind of forget that they sing sometimes because like we were all just friends and then I'd hear them sing and I'm like, how am I here? I'm like, what? So yeah, I don't know. But yeah, those would be some of the standouts for sure for me.
I think you deserve your place, but again,
Oh, thank you.
there's so much talent, right, in the room that you're always probably
Oh my
like
gosh.
thinking like, how am I here? But hey, I mean, the top 24 is such an accomplishment. I have a couple more questions for you. What are your
Hmm.
plans for the rest of 2025 with respect to your solo music? I know you just put yourself out there, which was self-produced as well. So tell me about what's to come on that front.
Yeah, so I I am such like a I want to make something quick and put it out there type of person. And I think that's what happened with my like don't like put yourself out there song. Um but I've been thinking I'm like I might need to go into hibernation a little bit and figure out the perfect sound for myself right now because after the show like there is this like weird pressure to like keep the momentum going. Um but I'm starting to realize I'm like if I really wanted to make good music, it's gonna take time. You know what I mean? Um, so I'm just like, I think I might slow down. I think I might try to meet some producers and other songwriters and like work with other people and try to really curate a specific sound. And I think I've got like a good trial period down for the artist image type of thing because I mean, Idol's like a training ground. You know what I mean? Like I feel like a lot of stars can come out of Idol, but I would say like a lot of the people who actually ended up being like super successful, like Lauren Spencer Smith. Like, she didn't have that all figured out when she was on the show, and I don't either. But like I think it's really who can buckle down and figure it out afterwards. And I think that just sometimes takes time. So to answer your question, I have no idea, but I think I need to actually sit down and kind of not be out of the public eye, but I think I definitely need to cook in silence for a bit to figure out what direction I want to go to make sure it's meaningful and it's like an album that I would like years down the road, if that makes sense.
I think that's a great plan because like you mentioned, it's sometimes you feel this urgency to want to release music right away, but if you're thinking about like a concept album or even an EP, you kind of want it to be cohesive. So I
Hmm.
admire that you want to take that time, and I'm sure a lot of people will be sticking with you and excited to see where you go next. Tell me about your relationship. I know you kind of briefly touched on it with Grayson Torrence, your
Mm.
head-to-head partner, because you also have a duo. You have an account that you've kind of been, you posted like a little snippet of an original that you were working on. So tell me about what sparked that and what your plans are for PG.
Yeah, so it stinks because she's from Virginia and I'm in California now. So it's like we're very long difference, long distance right now. So I don't know, but I know that there's a gig, an event or something happening like in September or October, and she asked me if I wanted to like open for her and we can maybe do some duo stuff, but like I I think we're gonna try to make whatever work with not being in the same immediate area. Like in the future, who knows what could happen? But I think we're gonna try to write songs, like whether it even be over the internet and like figure something out because I think our voices and our dynamic is too good to just not do something with that, you know? Like, I don't know. It's like finding each other on American Idol in Hollywood Week, but like being so similar and compatible, it's like you might as well like run with it and try it out. So, yeah, I think we're gonna just try to do whatever we can, despite not just being roommates on American Idol. So,
Would you say you have like soul sister vibes? Like, what did you
oh
immediately
yeah.
connect on, aside from, of course, the Renee Rapp song choice?
We just like we're always weirdly on the same wavelength. Like it's just funny. Like I would be wearing light pink and then she'd be wearing like light blue and it would be like the same aesthetic, but it was like the foil to each other. But then like I don't know, it's just weird because I'll be on FaceTime with her and I'll be like drinking Dr. Pepper or something, and she'll be like, "No way, I'm drinking Dr. Pepper." Or she'll be like, "I'm wearing a Dr. Pepper shirt." And I'm like, "That's weird." Like, why? Like, why is that happening? But it's just funny. We just get along really well, and it's funny because with the way like us doing the same song at arena round, like like with reality TV, there can be stories and whatnot. Like that really could have been like a they're singing the same song, like contestants turned to enemies story, but like we really were just like, wow, that's scary. And then we became friends. So it's like, yeah.
Well, I hope that you continue that long distance relationship and partnership
Right?
as a duo, but also, of course, excited for the solo music for both of you. Our signature question for you, if you could be any ice cream flavor,
Oh.
which would you be and why?
Tea berry because it's pink. Some people don't like it, which I don't understand, and it was my favorite when I was growing up. So,
Sorry, you said tea
tea
berry?
berry, yeah, I don't know if that's a Pennsylvania thing, but
I think
that
it
I remember.
probably is. I've never, well, I'm in Canada, but I've never heard of it.
We get to try it. Honestly, I get hate sometimes for liking tea berry, but I think
So
it's good.
what kind of berries are in it, or is that like what it's called? Is
You
that
know
a
what? I'm gonna tea. I don't even know. I just like it. It's a winter, yeah, American winter green, apparently, but it's like a type of ice cream.
interesting? I'll have to go look it up
Yeah,
after after the
yeah.
fact, but you always like, defer to the childhood favorites. Of course, that's a
Hmm.
great answer to end things off. I'd like to thank you so much, Penny, for taking the time to chat. It's been such a pleasure speaking with you.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Well, thank you for having me.
Of course. And for all those watching, make sure to follow Penny on the social media and on Spotify. New music will be coming in the future, so stay tuned for her music making journey, and we will see you next time.
All right, see you later.